Good afternoon, folks. We are moving into number 7 on the top 12 movies of all time. This one is, I think most people have seen this one. If I was to argue which is the most popular besides number 1, which you probably know if you've followed my website at all, what the number 1 movie of all time is. In my opinion, of course, it's right, but it doesn't matter. Let's take a look here. This is probably the only other one that is most popular, other than maybe The Godfather. Other than maybe The Godfather, but Godfather for far less than this one. Okay. The movie is Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. So, why is this number 7? Well, it depends on how you want to look at this. Why is this number 7 as opposed to what? Number 6? Or as opposed to number 8? Or why is this even in the top 10? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'll try to tease a couple of these things apart. One thing that you have to understand about me is that I am a huge Hitchcock fan. Hitchcock was very influential, both to modern directors and even some directors of his time. There's a very famous book by a French director. What was his name? Jean-Luc Biscuit, I think, is his name. Or Jean-Luc Picard. It's possible that it's Jean-Luc Picard, too. I don't know. He's the guy that directed Breathless. It's Jean something, I think. But Rousseau or Rene or something. Something like that. But he did a very famous book where he talked to Hitchcock about his directing and blah, blah, blah. It was, I never read it because I know why Hitchcock did what he did, because I'm just that good. But anyway, regardless of what may be thought of and about Hitchcock, this is his most influential film. Second to this is The Birds, which I believe I have on my list at... Let's take a look here. Oops. Too far. Where do I have The Birds? I have it at number 18. Right after All About Eve and right before F for Fake. So take that, Orson Welles. The guy was always stirring the pot. It's time the pot got stirred on him. A Psycho in and of itself, and this is I got a kind of a cool copy of it. It's the pop art edition, and it's a Blu-ray. Not much changed on the Blu-ray. I don't know if the film is too old now for it to be really, I guess, cleaned up. I don't know. So I do know that there was a movie that came out not too long ago called Hitchcock that was about the making of this film. It starred Anthony Hopkins as Hitchcock and the lovely, talented Scarlett Johansson as shower bait number 1. I don't remember what her name was, but I'm trying to think of what the actual blonde's name is. Come on, Jared. Think. Oh, here. It's right here. I don't even have to look. It's a great thing about having the movie. You can just look right here. Jeanette Lee. Yeah, Jeanette Lee. She was married to somebody at the time. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But anyway, why is this movie so influential? One is that it involved a certain style of editing for the shower scene that was made by someone else, a Russian director named Sergei Eisenstein, called Soviet montage. It's a type of montage where you push the next image into the other one. It's a violent sort of montage, and it's used for violence mostly. Sergei Eisenstein's use of it to begin with was Odysseus Steps. You can literally look it up. It's called Odysseus Steps. The most famous copy of that would be in The Untouchables when they're fighting the bad guys on those steps. That's kind of like De Palma's answer to Sergei and Hitchcocky. That's kind of like the same thing. It's a step and a staircase and blah, blah, blah. It's very, very good. The original is very, very good. It's clinical, though, because he was kind of a doctor of film. So just keep that in mind, that when I recommend things like Battleship Potemkin and Sergei Eisenstein, you're probably not going to like them. They're more filmmakers' films as opposed to anything else. but they are still good in story too. Hold on, pause it 1 second. All right. Regardless, Hitchcock was probably, I would argue, the most influential director of all time. I think that that's a pretty easy thing because even though Orson Welles was very good at what he did, Hitchcock was just more influential. More people have seen his films. Maybe some people have seen. Maybe some people have seen. I'm trying to think. Citizen Kane, but I doubt very many people have seen most of Wells's library after that, with some notable exceptions. I think Touch of Evil is one that some people have seen. Blah blah blah. So it's not like people haven't seen it, but I mean, think about how many Hitchcock movies people have probably seen. I mean, there's a ton. Birds, Rear Window, I don't know, Rope, uh, uh, Joel's favorite, Vertigo. The list goes on and on. But regardless, Hitchcock really used all elements of cinema in this particular film. First of all, he used black and white when it wasn't necessary. At this point, black and white was definitely something that had passed, but he used black and white, which I thought was really, really good. Also, the suspense in this is just outstanding. There's several scenes which are very ordinary, but given the fact that the woman has stolen money, it puts an added suspense element to it, and she's not a master thief. She just simply took money from the office because she thought she could get away with it, and then she kind of regrets doing it. There's 1,000 reasons why this movie is good. I'm not going to go into all the exhaustives of this. I'm just going to tell you that if you have not seen Psycho, please do. This is something that you will probably enjoy. The pacing is definitely slow by today's standards, but I think that the suspense elements in it more than make up for the fact that it has slow pacing. So, you have to understand that for a long time, people didn't view horror the same way that we view horror. Oftentimes, we view horror as blood and guts. Somebody gets cut up. Something spooky happens. A demon eats someone's head. Something like that. This is not often how it was back then during the coded period of Hollywood when there was censorship and things like that. You had to really tell a story and use your imagination. And I think Hitchcock said it best when he said that his best work was done during censorship, because at that point, the audience was invited to use their imagination, which is a far more effective tool in many ways than just simply showing. This is kind of a fundamental disagreement in writing, because they often say show, don't tell. But I think that you can show and tell at the same time. It's just that you want the tell to be in the audience's head, not yours. So that's kind of like my idea of filmmaking anyway. But Psycho is a very, very good movie. AFI has it listed as, I don't know, a few different things. AFI is the American Film List. And keep in mind, just because you don't see some of those films on the American Film List, I want to clarify something. One is that is just American films. They only included American films. I think about maybe 20% of my films are world cinema. So right away you can see the difference in that. I don't think Psycho is all that different. In fact, I'm going to look it up really, really quickly to see where AFI has that. So just give me one moment. Give me one moment here, folks. Oh, wow. Yeah, that page can't be found, so let's go to the home page here. They have Citizen Kane listed as number 1, which is fine. I think that's a fine choice, too. Okay. Can I see the list? Yeah, that's what I came here for. Because they redid a list not too long ago. I think they're probably set to do one this year. Again. Oh, let's see. Where is Psycho? Psycho they have listed as number 18. Okay? So there you go. We can agree to disagree. All right. So, what more can be said about this? Because I feel like this one has been talked about a lot too. So I don't want to run it over the ground and run it down to the ground. That's kind of like not my style. I just want you to go out and see the film if you've not seen it. The remake I have not seen. I've seen bits and pieces of it. It's not going to be as good as the original. It's just not. It was never. I don't think even the director Gus Van Sant even intended it to be as good as the original. It's kind of like reintroducing it to another audience. So, I don't know if there's much more I want to cover with this. I mean, Hitchcock has his own story, and he is probably, arguably, the greatest filmmaker of all time. He has made some of the most classic films that you'll ever see. Um, I would put him up there with Wells, but Wells is a director's director. So you're not going to like every one of Wells's films. It's just not possible if you're just a movie goer and not a movie maker. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover, like what we think of today in suspense. I'm trying to think if there's a movie that today has been influenced by Hitchcock more than others. Well, definitely. Hold on one second. Yes, I did think of one thing here, which is Jordan. Peele takes a lot of his influence from Hitchcock. So when you watch Jordan Peele films like Get Out and Us, those are definitely influenced by Hitchcock. So Hitchcock is even used today. There's not much more to say without going over Jordan Peele's work, because that's kind of a postmodern Hitchcock. But I did, as I want to say before, and I'll say it one more time, please watch this film. It doesn't matter if it's in Blu-ray or whatever. It's just a good, solid film. You will enjoy it. Until then, auf Wiedersehen.